Welcome back to the torturous journey of the 5K puzzle assembly. The puzzle has been put away now for a whole week, and I cannot tell you, but the 2 weeks that I had it out constantly completely damaged me with this puzzle, because before it was like 5 hours, you do however you do, put it back under the bed, and it was like constantly like that. I didn't have any pressure with it, I didn't feel stressed about it, I didn't have any expectations, it was always time related. And then when I had it there, it was like, oh, you have to finish the puzzle in 3 weeks. And I just started to have this insane pressure on me that I have to finish the puzzle in a given amount of time. And it just went into the completely opposite direction when I refused to even puzzle. I've done 3 hours of puzzling a week, I think it was like, so 6 hours in total in 2 weeks, which is half the time that I used to spend on the puzzle before that. So the average now is about 100 pieces for 3 hours. So it's not going quickly, but you know, at least we are moving somewhere. The process of the puzzling is still the same, and as I get to put the pieces together, I learn more about the texture and stuff. So I think I'm gonna have to resort the pieces multiple times, because there's quite a lot of dark pieces here that I'm missing, and I kind of assume they're like in this bag because these are like the dark pieces. I didn't know which section to tackle first. I'm just gonna take the picture, but the rock was quite easy to do, and then I thought, well, the forest should be quite simple as well, and I started doing it, and it just feels like it's missing so many pieces because there's so much dark in there, and I was just eliminating the ones that it's obviously forest. But what I have to say, that I started using the piece cut pattern, so that's really helpful. I didn't use a lot of it because I decided to do it after like 2 hours of puzzling. But because some pieces are missing, and then it's really difficult to just go in order. But when I have the piece cut pattern, I don't have to have 2 puzzle pieces together to see what the shape is gonna be. So I can literally just build on top even if I don't have the surroundings, which I think is gonna be very helpful, because I'm gonna be able to finish this section even with a lot of missing puzzles. So I think this is gonna be the plan now, because I miscalculated how much, how big the puzzle is. I didn't miscalculate. I was thinking in the wrong language. So I thought it was 135 when really it's 153. So I literally have 3 extra pieces that I cannot get, well, 3 rows that I cannot get on the 3 boards, because every board is like half a meter. So that's why the plan is to finish this forest section, so then I can remove the 3 lines away, and then I've got 3 sections of the puzzles. I can show them to you now. So it's not been arranged yet. I literally just flopped everything on top and decided I'm gonna sort it when I start puzzling, because I just couldn't be bothered to look at the picture yesterday. I just dropped everything on. So yeah, that's basically what I've got so far. I think it's gonna be a lot easier. I didn't bother to complete the top sections because I don't need it, so it's just gonna get stored away because we don't want the dust collecting on it. It's pointless to just assemble it to put it under the bed. So we collect that. So that was a bit pointless to do that. So I decided I'm just going to do the bottom section the same as I was using when I was at my dad's. And hopefully, 5 hours a week now. And we get as far as we get. And if I don't manage to finish it before 5K subscribers, that's completely fine. It's going to be done when it's done. I also had Tanya and Giga offer to help me to work on the puzzle in case I get stuck. So it's always good to know that I've got options in case it becomes too much for me. So I think it's time to get the passion back for the puzzle, because I really, really lost it in the past 2 weeks when it was out all the time. So now when I look at it, I'm just like, I don't even want to see you. But I'm just hoping that this week is going to change my impression of the puzzle, and hopefully I manage to get at least like 150 pieces in, I guess, in 5 hours. But yeah, let's get on with it now. It was a little bit confusing returning to the puzzle because I had to remember where everything was, and I don't know, the pressure after having the puzzle out for 2 weeks, I just didn't really know where to begin. But I said, it doesn't really matter, I'm just gonna do 5 hours a week, and as many pieces as I get in, I get in. Like, I genuinely did not care how much I put in, if I'm completely honest with you. And obviously I have been using the piece cut pattern to help myself, because I think without that, in all honesty, it would probably drive me insane and I would probably throw in the towel because it would just become unenjoyable. But the piece cut pattern really helped because I knew it was possible to finish the puzzle. And obviously it's possible to finish the puzzle even without the piece cut pattern, but in my eyes, it would become too unenjoyable and I would probably just stop working on it. But this way, I just took it like one piece at a time, didn't really stress about anything. It didn't really matter how long it takes me to finish the puzzle. I was just doing it. It's really difficult to explain, but it was similar to the crypt puzzle where I had no picture to help me. It was basically just based off of the shape of the pieces and the piece cut pattern. And I had no idea how long it's gonna take me. I knew it's doable and I just did it. So it's very similar to the crypt puzzle now that I think about it. Just the process itself really slows down at this point because, you know, you already used all of the obvious pieces. So I think it's just one thing with the giant puzzle that you need to be aware of, that it's really gonna slow down. And like the larger the puzzle, the more it's gonna slow down. And the less the picture helps you, the more it's gonna slow down again. Let's continue the journey of the 5K puzzle, and I'm really proud of myself, like how much I've done last week, because, you know, the 2 weeks before there was basically no progress at all. And I know I started using the piece cut pattern, but it's just like you still have to look for the pieces and it's not easy because you have nothing to go from. So at least when I know the shape, it makes it a little bit easier. But I'm still missing quite a few pieces, but I decided I'm not gonna, you know, waste my time looking for them. I'm gonna go do all of the obvious sections. So I'm literally just gonna put this away because I'm not gonna be using that. So what I think I'm gonna tackle now, because I think it's sorted quite nicely, are those green leaves, because they're really popping out with color. Probably this as well, I don't know. I just sorted all the green that pops out, so it's probably gonna be those two sections. And then everything, all of those, I don't even know what this vegetation is. Can you call it that? Like, it's not a flower, I don't think. But everything that's got these dots on the leaves, I also separated that. So I've got everything that's sorted is here. So I just want to check how much I've got. These are the one with dots. Okay, these are some random green pieces. I don't know what this sorting... Oh, I think this is everything that's got like a different color in it. So it's gonna be brownish, yellowish, reddish. These are the bright green pieces. So you see there's not a lot of them. So the next thing to tackle then would be this tray and this tray. So I don't think that's too bad. These are like the, I don't know, darker green pieces. I don't know from what. I have an impression there's gonna be this bottom section, because you can see that the leaves are quite clear. They don't have much texture on it, so I assume this is that section. I have no idea what this is. Some even darker sections. And these are even more dark sections. There's gonna be quite a few pieces belonging to this section, I think, from this pile. And what I've got here are basically some tree trunks, and then the rest are just the pieces that were left over from my sorting from this section. And I left them sorted by shape, because what I decided I'm gonna do on each tray when I finish working on the section and whatever's left over, I'm not gonna try to find where it belongs. I'm just gonna put it with the same shape, and then at the end of the puzzle I'm just gonna be filling in the gaps with, you know, shape sorted pieces basically. So I'm not gonna, yeah, these are for later, and I've still got quite a bit to go, but I'm not that worried, because now looking at it, like, the piece cut pattern really helps so much, and also not looking at the puzzle. It was literally under my bed for a week and it just made me feel so much better about it, because it doesn't interfere with your everyday life. You don't have to look at it. It doesn't take up space in your, I don't know, living room or whatever. So it just makes so much difference, and I'm really excited to tackle it this week, because I think I've got a good chance to finish those two trays. And yeah, there's not that much to go, because really, if I manage to do those two trays this week, maybe do those two trays the week after, 3, maybe 4 weeks. I'm planning to finish it before going to England to the competition, to British Championships. And yeah, I just really hope it's doable, because the last thing I want to do is not having the puzzle done and then going for holidays, and then it's just gonna postpone everything. So I'm really hoping that that's gonna be doable, but by the looks of things right now, I think it is. I just take it slowly, and you know, as many pieces as I put in. I'm not really, I'm not getting frustrated with it anymore. And probably because I've got a piece carpet. And also, having the puzzle separated on 3 boards makes so much difference, because when you have everything out, let me show you. This is not gonna stay now. Okay. So when you've got everything out, it just looks so intimidating and overwhelming when you just have like a massive open space. But then if you hide everything, you know, just focus on one section, for instance, this one, because this is what I'm going to be working on next. And I just have this little section, and now it doesn't look intimidating anymore, because it's just one little section. And once the pieces are sorted, I think it's going to be quite easy to work on it. I don't know. I might be completely wrong. I'm just, yeah. I forgot to check how much time I spent on the puzzle so far. I think it's 33 hours. I might be wrong, but I think I can definitely say that I'm more than halfway through now. Piece-wise and time-wise, hopefully. But you never know. Okay, I think it's time to just get into it again. So I thought tackling the light section is going to be quite easy, because there was the list of it, and also it's quite bright and colourful, and you think like, oh, that's going to be quite obvious to know what goes together. I made a conscious decision that I'm only going to use the Pisca pattern when I feel really stuck and starting to get frustrated with the puzzle, because I wanted to avoid that feeling. So naturally I try to do as much as I can without referring to the Pisca pattern. And I think I was actually doing quite alright with the lighter green section. But it's really difficult, because even though you've got different shades and different texture, everything is just so randomly placed across the puzzle that it's almost impossible to know where something goes based off of the picture. And I felt like I was missing quite a lot of pieces as well, so I decided to bring the other sorted pile out as well, and it was definitely helpful. Okay, this is by far the worst week of puzzling, because ever since I came back from my dad's, I kind of started to resent this puzzle, and I'm not sure because I had it out for 2 weeks and I had to keep looking at it, or is it just because it's completely green and it just, yeah, it just doesn't, it's not helpful to be the same color. So I kind of avoided going back to puzzling, so what I decided to do is call Donna Louise when I was puzzling, and yeah, that obviously slowed me down even more, so it's almost no progress this week. I mean, I did puzzle for a few hours. I think in total I'm now on like 37 hours, which is quite a few hours already put into this puzzle, but like I said, it was just really difficult to concentrate, and always I try to, every time I open a new section of sorted pieces, I always try to do it without the piece cut pattern first, because I want to see how difficult it actually is. But it just feels like you do not move anywhere at all. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing that, because it just, you know, when you don't really see any progress being done, it's a bit deflating. I don't know if that's the right words to use, but that's how it feels. It's like you go to puzzling and you puzzle for like 4 or 5 hours, and it's like, oh, I put 50 pieces in, woohoo! So yeah, I definitely have to do something. So I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna call Donna Louise next time when I decide to puzzle, and I'm probably gonna give in to using the piece cut pattern a lot sooner next time, because this was just pointless, honestly. It just feels like you're throwing away your time. I know some people might say it's cheating, and I probably said it a bazillion times by now because I forgot what I said the week before. But you know what? Puzzles are here for us to relax, to enjoy them. And I just don't find it enjoyable to do it without the piece cut pattern, to be completely honest with you, because there's just so many pieces. It's not been sorted properly because obviously it's all green. How do you even know what goes where? It's only once you start doing one section that you start to notice the small details, and then you have to go through all of the pieces again to find those pieces, but I couldn't be bothered to do that, so I decided to just go straight to the next section, and I'm just gonna deal with that later. And like I said, sorting is not done properly, which means that a lot of pieces are missing as well. So even having that extra little step of like to help myself, it's still not easy, because if it was, the puzzle would be done by now. So yeah, I would definitely say that this week is a bit of a, not a setback, but almost like doesn't really count, because I didn't really do a lot, even though I put a lot of hours in. So what I decided to do next week is all of the plants with the dotted pieces, because I don't know, they're the only ones that I've still got sorted, and I feel like they should be quite distinctive, so I think they should be fine. And then after that, I really don't have anything much sorted. It's like between dark green, really dark green, and like black pieces. It's gonna be filling in the gaps, I hope. I just don't want to be left with like big open sections, but again, if you've got a piece cut pattern, you can just close it up slowly. So I think it should be fine. Okay, yeah. So I think it's time to just return back to puzzling now. One thing I want to start with is just mentioning how important it is to have different shapes of the pieces, because I mentioned a lot of the times that I don't like edgy cut because they only have ribbon grit cut pieces besides the one that don't interlock, which I hate even more. With this particular puzzle, I know the picture should really help you know which pieces go together, but with this particular one, when everything was quite dark and green and there was so many shades, I'm not saying it would be impossible, but imagine this puzzle with ribbon grit cut pieces only. I mean, it would absolutely drive me insane. I would probably stop working. Like, I do not think I would finish it if it was ribbon grit cut pieces only. So in that sense, like, I know I was using the piece cut pattern, but even without it, when you have two pieces together, you know sort of shape. Like when you have three pieces together, you're almost certain you know which shape it is, but when you've got two pieces together, it helps you eliminate quite a lot of pieces. Now, if everything was ribbon grit cut, imagine that. You would have to go through all the pieces all the time. I know that searching is part of the process, but when there's more searching than actually putting the pieces in, it becomes unenjoyable for me and probably quite frustrating. So in that sense, I would say that every puzzle is doable as long as the quality is good and they have variety of shapes of the pieces. Okay guys, this is it. This is the home stretch. Is that how it's called? Anyway, final stretch, whatever. I have decided that I'm gonna finish the puzzle in the next 3 weeks, because then I'm going to the UK and I don't want to return home to this puzzle. Yeah. So I've got my puzzle map, well, the pieces here. I printed it out again because the last one I was using for both sides and it was just a mess. So I've got this. I said I'm gonna start with this small one with the sections, just to get one out of the way, and then moving on to, you know, bigger open sections, because it's going to be so much easier to puzzle the bigger sections when I've got less pieces to go from. So I'm going to close this up first. I've got everything sorted by shape, and the idea is I've got how many trays? I've got 7 trays. So 2 of them are ribbon grit cut pieces, and I kind of want to leave them for the end. Like I want to leave them for week 3, because when you know the exact shape that you're looking for and exact like details that you're looking for, it's going to be a lot easier to look for them than it is when, you know, the puzzle is quite open. I just feel like I want to use the special shapes first because it would just make it easier, but then all of the boards would stay incomplete until the very end, but I think, I'm not sure if I care about that, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, I've got this ready. I'm going to start with this section because it's the smallest one, and I just want to feel like I finally completed something, and then I'm going to move to the other boards as well. So hopefully I managed to get, well, how much did I count? I weighed the pieces and I've got 1,063 pieces left. That's based on calculations when, you know, I weighed the pieces the first time around. Obviously the pieces can weigh differently as well, because you've got the one that's got 4 prongs out and you've got the one with no prongs. So obviously there's a weight difference, but there's just an approximation based on the weight of the pieces of all 5,000 piece puzzle. So that's 4/5 of the puzzle done. So I think I can do that. It's about 350 pieces per week. If I'm gonna feel like I'm not gonna manage to finish it by the time I go to the UK, I'm gonna have like a puzzling day with my friends on the last week before going, and I'm gonna be like, everyone just comes to my place and we are all gonna work on the puzzle until it's done. But I think it should be doable. And yeah, I've got everything set. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be needing the poster, but it's still good to have it just in case you have to see the detail, like if something's going across. But yeah, I think it's just time to start the assembly, I guess. And the sun is out today, which, oh my god, this is gonna make such a difference, because I've been puzzling in rain for a few weeks, and it just doesn't help with the puzzle like this, because, you know, you don't see any details on it. So I'm really happy that the sun is out today. This is gonna make it so much better, so much more enjoyable. And I'm kind of excited about it now, because it feels like I'm finally close to finishing. I know I've still got 1,000 pieces left, but I gave myself 15 hours to do it. Like, I've got 3 weeks for 5 hours, and I think it's totally doable. So no rush, just gonna go 350 pieces. That's all I have to do today. And oh god, it's exciting. It's like I can see the end finally. And wow, yeah, no words. I'm completely speechless. I would normally not attempt to do shape sorting so early on, but with this puzzle, you literally have nothing else to go from other than shape. So even though I did shape sorting quite early on and I had loads of pieces left, it's still very beneficial because I have the pattern to follow, and it's much easier, like if you have 1,000 pieces and then you know exactly which shape you're looking for. Instead of going through 1,000 pieces, you can only go through, I don't know, 200 of them, which eliminates the searching process, which is exactly what I was talking about before. Because the last thing you want to do is for the puzzle to become unenjoyable. And I think this is one thing that I'm the most proud of with this puzzle, because there was a lot of points where I thought that I'm not going to be able to finish this puzzle, but really I just took it day by day, piece by piece, and I managed to get so far. And in a way, it's almost like a growth journey. And I know this is probably not going to make any sense to you now, but learning to let go of the pressure or like expectations of how much you have to do in a certain amount of time, or when do you have to finish a puzzle. And when you take all of that away, it becomes so much more enjoyable, and you just take the entire stress away from puzzling. So I'm 45 hours into the puzzling now, and I feel like I'm getting close to the end, finally. So everything that I've got here are basically pieces that are separated by shape, and on those 3 foam boards as well. And then this is basically the plan to finish all of that. And these are the pieces that are all standard ribbon grit cut pieces. So I want to leave them for the end, so I'm not going to need to use the puzzle map anymore. I'm just going to know that, you know, sort all the pieces and just place them in. So one thing I have to say I've learned so far. Wow, you know the repeat cut pattern that I've been using to help myself with puzzling? Well, I had a situation at the bottom because I didn't have sunlight, and it was really difficult to know the difference between different, you know, it's just really dark and everything is green. And if you don't have specific like line going through it, it's really difficult to know what you're looking for. So when I was doing this section, I actually realized that this chunk of the puzzle was already assembled on the first section that I was doing. So I had to keep going back and forth because I had the other section in the kitchen. So I had to keep going back and forth, and I realized that I did the frame wrong. And then obviously because I had the frame wrong, I was going from the frame up. So the entire section was wrong. And I cannot believe that I didn't even notice it, because obviously on the picture when it's bright outside, you can see that it's obviously not fitting together, but you know. Anyway, what the plan is now is to finish all of the pieces. I kind of had an idea to finish all of the special pieces first, you know, do half and half, and then do the standard ribbon grit cut pieces. Obviously last week I didn't do half of these pieces, but it was just so difficult because there was so many of them. And obviously the less pieces I've got, the easier it is to find the right one. So I think if I manage to finish all of these pieces this week, that's a win. Because I think that means that I'm definitely going to finish the puzzle by the time I go to the competition. So I think it's doable. I really think it is. It's just, it might require a bit more than 5 hours because it is long. And obviously when you've got big open spaces, you've got nothing to go from. You don't have the lines going through, you have nothing. So I would definitely say it's a lot more difficult to build from an open puzzle because you literally have to go only by one like prong or something because that's all you have. But at least I've got the shapes right. I think it's still easier to do it this way than keep going back to standard pieces and trying to go in a row and clear everything together. So yeah, I think I'm on a good way to finish the puzzle finally. It feels surreal because it's been going on for so long. I forgot, I lost count how many weeks it is. I think it's week 13. Oh, I don't know, because I skipped 1 week in between. And yeah, I don't know. A long time. It's been long going, honestly. I cannot wait for this puzzle to be finished, but hopefully I manage to do. Like I said, if I manage to finish everything that's on here today, this week, tomorrow as well, I'm gonna be the happiest person on the planet because, beginning of the end, finally. Really looking forward to finally finishing this puzzle. I think at this point I started to really enjoy the puzzle. I'm not talking about not being frustrated with it or like just working through it, but actually starting to enjoy it, because I enjoyed it in the beginning, but since starting the green part, it has not been that enjoyable. It was just puzzling. But now it was like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna be able to do this puzzle. I actually started to believe that I'm seeing the end of it, if that is making sense. And I could see that the end was close. I could feel it, I could almost touch it, like, oh, it's really difficult to explain, but after spending so many hours on the same puzzle and having a point when I nearly gave up on it, and just to keep going and seeing the end of it, it's one of the more fulfilling things that you can experience. And this is where giant puzzles have different sense of accomplishment when finished, because I can see the difference when I was doing the 4K puzzle, that I didn't feel the accomplishment I felt when finishing the 3K puzzle, because the 4K puzzle I did in 3 bags of 1300 pieces, and it's just different. Even though when it was complete, it was like majestic and, you know, massive and all of that, but it was just still a different sense of accomplishment because I still did it in smaller chunks. So I understand why people like to do giant puzzles and why they like to combine bags, and they feel like it doesn't count if the bags are not mixed. But you also have to take in account that a lot of people don't have that much space or time to mix all of the bags. So I understand both sides. And like I said, after doing this 5K puzzle and just spending so long on it and working through it, I can say that I would be able to tackle any puzzle as long as the quality is good. But at the end of the day, I know I've already spoken about that, but you always have to ask yourself what is going to make the puzzling more enjoyable. Because at the end of the day, we do puzzles to enjoy them, not to just get them done. You know, what's the point of achieving a goal if the journey towards the goal is unenjoyable? The journey is what matters, because the journey is the one that takes the longs. Like once you have the goal, once it's accomplished, it's like, yay, but how did you get there? So after tackling this puzzle, I think I have like an inner sense of accomplishment that I can tackle any puzzle that comes my way. And I don't have the need to keep mixing the bags the further up I go. I don't even know where to begin because there's so much has happened. Okay, I'm gonna start with the poll that Donna Louise put out. Okay, she asked, who's in the wrong without telling you what's going on? The only thing you knew was that it's about the 5K puzzle. So I'm gonna tell you a story now. Okay, so as you've noticed, I used piece cut pattern to help myself to do the puzzle. And as I was speaking to Donna Louise on the phone, and I was like, oh, it's really hard to concentrate on the puzzle when I have to keep referring back to the piece cut pattern to see where I've left off. And she's like, why are you not just putting the puzzle on top of the already assembled puzzle? And my brain just went like, why did you not say that to me sooner? Like, why did you not tell me sooner? Because I saw that you commented on every post that, you know, that I put out about the puzzle. And every time I mentioned that I'm using my, you know, piece cut pattern printout to do the puzzle. And she was like, oh, I didn't even clock it. I didn't realize that that's what you were doing. Because for me, it was obvious that you would just put it on top of the puzzle. Oh, so this is how it happened, because then I blamed her for making it more difficult for me. And then she blamed me for not watching her 5K puzzle video, because she assembled the puzzle on top of the puzzle to see the repeat cut pattern. And yeah, that's when she put the poll out. And at the moment, as I'm recording this, the poll is that Donna Louise is 51% in the wrong and I'm 49% in the wrong, which means that I'm winning. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for, you know, believing in me. But then another thing happens that kind of makes Donna Louise say that it was actually that I'm in the wrong. because I remembered, you know, the puzzles that I've got displays in my, well, that I put on the wall in my living room. So the zebra, the tiger and the elephant. So I assembled the tiger first, and then I used the tiger one as a piece cut pattern to do the zebra one on it. And after I said that to Donna Louise, because, you know, then she was like, you're definitely in the wrong because obviously I've already done it. And then it couldn't be her fault for not telling me because I've already done it previously, so I should have known. But for some reason I just couldn't figure it out. You probably noticed at the end of the time lapse that I put it on top of the puzzle that was already assembled. So yeah, I'm choosing different technique now because I supposedly only have ribbon grit cut pieces left, even though I don't really, because there's still like, for some reason I've got some other pieces left and I don't know where I've missed them. And there is one thing that it's a bit boring, but I've got one 4-prong piece that it's missing, and I don't know where it is. And I wanted to count how many pieces I've got left, not count, but I wanted to weigh how many pieces I've got left, but my scales, yeah, I need to change the battery. I don't have the battery at home, so I cannot actually tell you how many pieces there are left to do. But what I've done so far is I divided the puzzle into 6 sections. So I went straight in the middle where the piece cut pattern basically repeats itself, and then I divided it into 3 sections, so the 3 top sections and the 3 bottom sections. So what the plan is right now is to finish all the pieces at the top section, just get it all done, and then I'm gonna put the bottom on top of the top section so I can see the shapes of the pieces, because even though they're all standard ribbon grit cut pieces, it still helps to see a bit of like, you know, just the shape, because sometimes you have a very specific prong and it just makes it easier to search by prongs than, you know, by the picture. I did have like a few misfits in between, which made it quite difficult because I puzzled in the evening one day, and then the next day in the morning I realized that I had the frame done wrong, and then a lot of pieces connected to the frame were wrong. Then I realized that there was some sections in between, because when you put one piece in and it's so dark and everything's green, you don't really realize that it's the wrong one, because obviously it's a perfect fit because it's repeat cut pattern. But then once you do like 2-3 connected pieces, and then on the other side when it connects to the something that was already assembled, and you're just like, that doesn't fit at all. But I managed to sort all of that out, so it shouldn't be a problem anymore. And all I'm hoping right now that it's not gonna take me longer than 5 hours, honestly. I mean, like, I'm not going to England without finishing this puzzle, full stop. Like, even if it means that I have to do it for 10 hours, if it means that I have to call my friends to come help me out, I am not going to England before finishing this puzzle. That's a decision that I have made, because I just wanna, you know, kind of get it over and done with at that point. I just want to return back. I just want to enjoy the holidays and just return back free from the puzzle. I just really hope that it's going to be complete, because obviously I moved the puzzle to my dad's, and if I lost the piece it could be anywhere. Like, you know, that's sad. I'm still hoping it could be somewhere, you know, between all those pieces. I don't know. Now that you know what happened, we can do another poll and we can actually ask you who's in the wrong now, so you can vote again. But thanks to anyone who supported me without knowing what the case is. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Anyway, I think it's just time to crack on with the puzzle, because we have to get this done now. It's the finish line. It's the last week. Like, even if I work for 3 days, I don't care. It's I do not want to put this puzzle back under my bed. No. It's done. It's gonna be done. Okay, wish me luck. And now supposedly we only have the ribbon grit cut pieces left, but let me tell you one thing, there was so many of them. I did not expect that at all, because the puzzle is so big that when you got some spaces you feel like, oh, there's not that many pieces really, but because the puzzle is so massive, it's actually quite a lot of pieces. But it really helped, even though they're all ribbon grit cut pieces, but to actually have the puzzle underneath the puzzle, because I still managed to find the shape or see if any piece has like a specific prong or something like that, or I could even see if they were more elongated or like shorter. So it was actually quite useful to do that. And yes, it was Donna Louise's idea and I did not think of that. I know. I have to admit that this was taking a bit longer than expected, but I was so close to finishing that I just said I'm not gonna give up on it, and I just kept going. There was something about it though, because I moved the puzzle twice. I was really worried that I'm gonna have a piece missing. So it's like, when you can't find one piece, you're like, what if this piece is missing? What if I've lost it somewhere? So I was a little bit worried that there might be a chance that I'm gonna be missing a piece. And then I always find the piece and then it's like, okay, it was just in my head. But I think it's with any puzzle that you do, especially like the bigger the puzzle, the more worried you are, because you don't want to come to the end and it's like, ah, damn, like missing one piece after putting like 5,000 pieces in. I don't really know what else to say because I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. One thing I'm gonna tell you is, you probably already know that I'm gonna manage to finish it because you can see how far I've done it. But what you don't know if it's all the pieces are gonna be there. Oh, at this point I remember how happy I was. I was on a call with Donna Louise. And I was like, oh my god, I'm coming towards the end. So, oh, this is so cool. This is absolutely amazing. Guys, I cannot believe that this is actually happening. I've got 5 final pieces left and I didn't want to put them in, you know, without you. So I just waited with them because this is a special moment now. Before I finish the puzzle, I just want to go through statistics with you. So it took me 58 hours and 15 minutes to finish the puzzle across 27 days, across 13 weeks. Wow. I mean, technically when you break it down, it's like approximately like just over 2 hours per day. But obviously there were days that I only did it for like half an hour or 1 hour, and there were days when I did it for 4 hours. So obviously it's a bit different, but technically I could have done it in 1 month if I did it for 2 hours per day. But yeah, it's just, you need breaks for puzzles like that. So are we ready to finish the puzzle? Oh my god, this is insane. And obviously there was a point where I thought that I have a missing piece. That wasn't the case, I managed to find it, so all is good. Oh, it's just, this is insane. Oh, I want to leave that one for the last one because it's the biggest one. Because I need to sign the piece. What date is it today? Okay. "19th of June. Okay, signing the final piece. Okay. So, signed the piece. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on camera, but it goes in now. Dum dum dum. It's done. The puzzle is finally done. Oh god, this has been a roller coaster of emotions. Oh my god, honest to god, never again. Oh wow, it feels a bit surreal, but oh, I just need to take it in. It's actually finally done and I did it on my own. Wow. I need to assemble it now. Where am I gonna do that? I could do it on the floor, I guess, but I don't think there's gonna be any pickup challenge with this puzzle because, yeah, I'm too worried for it to crumble, basically. I put too much work into it. Okay, let's talk about a few things first. So, what I'm gonna do with this puzzle, I'm gonna disassemble it into 4 bags. Just because. I don't know, I just want to make it a bit easier for them, and also with having problems with repeat cut pattern, which we are gonna talk about. I want to do it in 4 sections so they don't actually have any misfits or like repeat cuts, basically. So it's gonna be the same way that the poster is split. Which direction? So this is the same way that I would split the puzzle, because this is every section is its own. And also one thing that I wanted to say about the poster, because obviously I had to keep changing it based on which section I was doing. You can see they became a little bit damaged, which is, you know, a bit of a shame, but the way I was thinking, it would probably be better to just have it like printed separately, every section of the puzzle separately, because just bending it, I think is just gonna rip off. I mean, I guess when it rips off, you have 4 separate sections, so it doesn't matter, I guess. So yeah, that was just one thing that I wanted to say. Then another thing I wanted to say was repeat cut pattern. I had so many problems in the bottom section because obviously I've got sun out today, so that wouldn't be a problem. But I was doing this puzzle in the evening as well without the sunlight, and it's just the pieces are so dark, it's really difficult to actually know what goes together, and then you obviously have a perfect fit because the same piece goes in 2 places. Well, technically 4, but obviously you're not going to mix up with sky. So yeah, it became really difficult because I did some sections and it worked and it seemed like it's fine. And then I would put another piece in and it's just like, oh, well, now it doesn't work anymore. And then you realize that you've got the entire connected section of like 5-6 pieces that is completely wrong because you just didn't realize it sooner. So in that sense, I would definitely say that even though repeat cut pattern was helpful, obviously, because I managed to do the puzzle on it, I don't even want to think about how long it would take me if I didn't use the repeat cut pattern. Oh my god, no. Hell no. Whew, let's not talk about that. It's fine. It's fine. 58 hours. So yeah, in that sense, I would say that it was a bit more difficult because of it, but at the end of the day, it was quite easy to know what, like when you had I'm not gonna say misfit because it's a perfect fit, but when you had the wrong picture, you could see the mismatch in the picture once you had enough pieces in. Because it's quite, like, even now, Donnelly's told me don't look too closely because you might see that there's a lot of pieces in the wrong places, but actually it's not. Because it's quite clear that it goes together now nicely. I had about, I think there was like 4 sections where I got it wrong, but I changed all of that. What else is there to say? Okay, my thoughts on building a 5K puzzle. Honestly, now that I think back, it wasn't that bad. No, it's just the bottom section, I'm not gonna lie, this was really difficult, but it's just because you literally had nothing to separate it from. And even when I knew what the shapes were, obviously that helped because I had less pieces to go from. But when I had all ribbon grit cut pieces left at the end, I was just like, I couldn't really decide what's the best way to do. Is it like find an empty space and try to find the puzzle to fit that space? Or is it just find a piece that has something specific on it and then try to find that in a puzzle? And I actually realized that the latter was the better option, because when I had so many pieces out, it was really difficult to find, I don't know, that specific one line that goes through a specific piece, because you don't know what the piece is gonna look like. That's the worst thing, because you have, I don't know, the line is gonna go up there, and then you think, oh, in a new piece it's supposed to cut through there, but then because obviously it's a picture of the nature, the line literally might get cut immediately and it doesn't even show on the next piece, and you're just like, what's going on? And then you get stuck with that line and you're looking for that line, and then that line doesn't even exist on the piece. Then I realized it was actually a lot better to find a specific piece and then just look for that, specific section within the puzzle. Another thing that I realized is with, where the puzzle, the piece cut pattern is split, so down the middle, you have a lot thicker pieces and they're actually a bit more square-like. So at the end, when I had only ribbon grit cut pieces left, it was really easy to spot them. And oh my god, I'm gonna kill the lift people. Honest to god, I need to keep waiting for them to stop working, and it's just I'm never gonna record this video if I keep waiting for them. Okay, so at the end, when I only had ribbon grit cut pieces left, it was really easy because they were standing out so much, so it was really easy to do the line, but I had to figure that out first. So yeah, that was definitely one helpful thing. What else is there? The thing is, it's just this puzzle, I don't think it can be compared to a normal 5,000 piece puzzle because the picture is like extremely difficult. But the only thing I can say is what helped me is just the smallest details. Is like there's the grass and you can see like some lines going through, and yeah, just focusing on the smallest details that you can find. Is like, oh, this one's got a yellow line going through it, but this one's got a green line going through it. So it's like every little detail helped. And yeah, oh my god, am I ready to put this puzzle together? I'm so proud of myself that I did this puzzle without any help. And yeah, I just know that I can do anything now. It's just the editing is gonna take forever because there's many hours in this puzzle. I don't know what else to say. Would I tackle a 5,000 piece puzzle again? Probably yes, not this one. What I've learned from doing this giant puzzle is the same thing when I watched in Vicky's video, that it's really important, and I cannot stress this enough, but to work it in smaller sections. Because honest to God, when I went to my dad's and I just had the puzzle out on the table and it was a big empty space, it just puts you off of doing it. And like even separating it into 3 sections, it was still an open space, but it's like this, even though I had a big open space, it was still like 1/3 of what I had before. So it just seems a lot more doable. So I would definitely say, even though I couldn't really separate sections, I couldn't really sort sections, everything at the bottom was just green. I don't even, oh god, now when I think back, I don't even know how I tackled this, honestly. Because it's just looking at it now, it's just so many different colors, yeah. So definitely keep smaller sections, even if it means that you have to keep changing between different boards, but it does something to your brain that makes it easier to believe that you can actually finish it. I'm glad that my life is gonna go back to normal because I have honestly been completely drowning. Like I was running out of time from week to week because it just takes a lot. I know that it's only 5 hours of puzzling per day, which doesn't seem a lot, but when you count, setting up the camera, you have to take a break in between, you have to eat, all of that. You easily get like an 8-hour day to get 5 hours of puzzling out of it. And on that note, I have decided that I'm not gonna mix the 6K puzzle. I did put the poll out and more people voted not to mix the bags because it's more enjoyable, but I know that there is the other side of people who believe that that's cheating and that it doesn't count. But just in terms of my health and time, because I've literally, it's been tough the past 13 weeks have been a lot for me. Because obviously I've got day job as well, and then YouTube, I had to put regular videos out, and then this 5K puzzle as well. So it's just, be kind to me. Don't shit on me in the comments saying, oh, you're not doing a 6K puzzle. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go put the puzzle together, but obviously I can't do that at the table because it's not big enough. So I'm gonna have to go off camera, record that, and then just give you the tape in there. So all I can do for now, I think, is thank you again for being here with me, for supporting me, because now we actually have 5,000 subscribers by the time the videos come out. So this is so cool. Thank you so much to everyone, and yeah, let's see how the puzzle looks together. Bye!